edition of Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Wisconsin.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Here we go, Wisconsin. The time has come. America's pastime returns to America's heartland. So fire up the grills and polish the slide. The bunting is up and the chalk is down. Miller Park is open for business. Welcome.
Say some kind of swing by Ryan Braun
to opening day.
Or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Today, tailgating by the thousands for opening day 2013. The Milwaukee Brewers and the Colorado Rockies. Starts a 3-game series where the Rockies starts a 6-game over 7 days in the first homestand of the year. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us. Happy opening day. It is certainly a holiday here in Wisconsin and all across the country, Rock. And congratulations. You've made it this far once again, your 19th season in the booth.
Yeah, 19th and my 26th opening day, and I hear the national anthem. I hear the guys getting introduced, and you still get goosebumps. Yeah. You know, the fans are ready. You know, the players are ready. It was a long spring training, and it's particularly special for 8 Milwaukee Brewers, their first Major League opening day roster. You can only imagine what's going through their minds today.
Well, it's the 13th opening day here at Miller Park. This ballpark has never looked better. And today on the mound is going to be Yovani Gallardo, and he is the unquestioned ace of this ball club. He is going to be making his 4th consecutive opening day start.
And he's only 27 years old. This is a guy in his 7th season, and he's making his 4 starts you talk about. You can't ask for a better guy to be put in a position to do this. He had a pretty good spring training. He's a guy that is perfectly mentally perfect for this situation. Nothing really seems to bother him. All a matter of keeping his pitches down, getting that curveball over strikes. He can beat you in a lot of different ways. He swings the bat. He knows what he's doing. He's just a good, solid baseball player, and we'll see how he does here today. If the last 2 seasons are any indication, 66 starts, 33 and 19. The numbers jump off the page for you. Certainly a guy you feel comfortable with making an opening day start here today.
Now Gallardo coming off a 16-win season. He is looking for his first opening day victories. 0-2 so far in his 3 opening day starts previous, making number 4 here today. Yovani Gallardo, 27-year-old right-hander, Mexican-born, Texas-raised, and he is on the mound as we get it started today. The tailgating scene was awesome today. Temperatures in the 30s. They didn't mind at all. And now we're set for Major League Baseball, the Brewers and the Colorado Rockies. It's coming up next. Hall.
Yes, sir.
How we doing? Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And by Toyota. Toyota's #1 for every sales event is going on now. Toyota. Let's go places. Sellout crowd ready to bring the Brewers onto the field here as we get set to start one of 162. And Ryan Braun will lead the crew on the field at Miller Park. '45th season as a franchise. Started in Seattle in 1969. And this will be the 16th opening day as a National League franchise. And the Brewers are hoping this is going to be a division contending ball club this year. They feel very good about the team they have assembled prior to this opening day. Now the Colorado Rockies, the first opponent in town. They're managed by Walt Weiss, and here is his opening day lineup. It's brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Dexter Fowler leads off, Josh Rutledge, and then Carlos Gonzalez. Middle of the order is Troy Tulowitzki, Michael Kadire, and Todd Helton. And the bottom three, Willeen Rosario, Chris Nelson. And on the mound and batting ninth for the Rockies is Jhoulys Chacin. And that's the lineup that will be facing Yovani Gallardo.
Hey, you see his career numbers. His last two very good. We showed you those on the open. 69-43 last year. Yovani 16-9 and 366 earned run average. Yovani looking for his fourth consecutive 200 strikeout season. You know, Yovani seems to be, you would think he's about 35 years old. He's only 27. He came up with the Brewers when he was 21. A perfect guy to have out there on opening day.
And let's check the defense behind Gallardo. Much improved defensive team here. Braun, Gomez, and Aoki in the outfield. All three very fast. Aramis Ramirez, Gene Segura, his first opening day start. Ricky Weeks at second, and Alex Gonzalez playing his first game ever in the big leagues at first base. Jonathan Lucroy does the catching. And the Brewers defense brought to you by Menards. So this will be for Alex Gonzalez the first time he's ever played an inning at first base. He's been a shortstop his entire career, and he gives way to the young shortstop Gene Segura, one of the 8 players on the opening day roster for the first time. Wally Bell, Larry Vanover, Tony Randazzo, and Manny Gonzalez, the 4-man big league umpiring crew. And here we go from Miller Park. First pitch is ball 1, and we're off and running in 2013. Dexter Fowler leading off for Colorado, the switch hitter. Rockies will be here for the first 3 games, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks. 6 games over 7 days. The first homestand of the season is Fowler. Little jam shot's going to fall in right center, a base hit. And that's how the day and the season begins.
Well, Gallardo had a pretty good spring training. 5 starts, an ERA at about 3.5. Not too bad in Arizona. He gets in on the hands of Fowler, but Fowler able to dump it into center field. Certainly a guy you don't want to have on the bases. He can run. He can steal some bags.
So the speedy Fowler is aboard for Josh Rutledge on an opening day roster for the first time. Now Gallardo pitching for Team Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. Had a very good start against Team USA. That was at Chase Field. So he's already kind of felt some pressure and some nerves prior to this opening day start. And Rock, you said it very well in the open. He's mentally ready for opportunities like this. I mean, you can go back throughout the career of Yovani Gallardo, whether it was coming back from a horrible knee injury knee surgery to make a start in the postseason, and now making his 4th opening day start. There's a lot more to it than any other day of the year.
Yeah, you have to control your emotions, and Yvonne Gallardo is certainly a guy that if he's at all nervous or having a tough time with it, he hides it very well. He's very calm, cool, and collected out there, and that's the kind of guy you need to have out there on opening day.
Young second baseman Rutledge moving over a position this year. Rutledge came up last season when Troy Tulowitzki went down with an injury, a sports hernia that cost him the rest of the year. Rutledge did a nice job. The Rockies feel like they're going to swing the bats, and they're hoping their pitching matches their offense this season. A team that finished dead last in the National League West a season ago. There goes Fowler, and a swing and a drive into center field. Gomez on the run. With room, he's got it for out number 1. And Fowler has to retreat.
Hey, your chances of beating the Rockies are a lot greater when you're able to control the first 2 in the batting order, because once you get to Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, and Kadai, you're in trouble. You've got to face those guys ideally with nobody on base.
And one of the great tandems, run-producing tandems in Major League Baseball, starting with Gonzalez. He hits third with Troy Tulowitzki in the cleanup spot. Some nagging injuries last year for Carlos Gonzalez, but he had a 2020 season. He had 22 home runs. He stole over 20 bases. And if he's healthy and playing every day, he's a guy that, much like Ryan Braun, will make a run at an MVP award.
Yeah, and a lot like Ryan Braun, not a lot of holes in his swing. It means he's not just one way to pitch this guy to get him out. He makes adjustments very well.
One of his favorite opening day memories, Gonzalez, was against Gallardo and the Brewers back in 2010. Had a 4-hit game. Scored a couple of runs. Gallardo is still looking for his first opening day victory, and Rocky's going to have to do it today against a team that has been a nemesis team on, I guess, what you could call a nemesis day for him so far.
Right. Well, 0-3 on opening day, but Rockies have hit him particularly well at Coors Field, not so much here.
There goes Fowler, and Gonzalez pops it up behind the plate. The chance of Luke come raining down on their favorite catcher, and Gonzalez is retired. 2 gone with Fowler still at first base.
Got away with one there, did Giovanni. That was a fastball in the low 90s that was up in the zone. Gonzalez liked to have that one back. Can't be making too many mistakes against this lineup. There you see it right down the middle. Gonzalez can't believe he didn't get center on it. And an easy out to Luke.
So 2 gone for Gallardo. And here is Troy Tulowitzki, back from a very serious injury. Tulowitzki missed most of the season last year. He played the first 2 months of the season for the Rockies, and then that sports hernia injury that required surgery. And you remember, Rock, when the Brewers were in there in the second half last year, Tulowitzki was taking batting practice, ground balls. He was trying to come back. But the Rockies, because of their record, and they finished with 98 losses, they just shut him down for the rest of the year, and hoping they would get a Tulowitzki who is 100% to start this season.
Right, and he certainly has an big impact. I mean, that's an understatement. Particularly against Milwaukee, he's a career 400-plus hitter against the Brewers. And even without Tulowitzki last year, the Rockies took 5 of 6 against Milwaukee a year ago.
Yeah, the Brewers were swept in Colorado. Colorado taking 2 out of 3 in the first half here at Miller Park.
And that fastball right on that outside corner at 91 miles an hour. So velocity not up yet for Yo in this game.
2 balls and a strike, 2 outs. We're just underway from Miller Park. Great to have you with us on a Monday afternoon, opening day in Milwaukee and all across
Major League Baseball. On the corner again, same spot. 2-2.
Well, it doesn't matter how hard you're throwing. If you put them there, they're not going to do much with them. Good pitch.
Fowler takes off. Weeks got a late start and a base hit for Tulowitzki. Punched it right through the vacated hole. And a 2-out, 2-strike base hit for Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah, the off infield, a right-handed batter. You got the second baseman covering. Look at Tulowitzki just try and shoot it in that direction. Ricky not able to make the adjustment to get back. So first and third and 2 outs. Nice piece of hitting by Tulowitzki.
Now, you never want to get yourself in early trouble, especially when it's the first inning and when it is your first start. Gallardo with runners at first and third. Michael Kadire, longtime Minnesota Twin, now back in a Rockies uniform. Kadire's another guy that dealt with some injuries last year. Had an oblique injury last year. And that's been kind of the theme of this Colorado Rockies offense. A lot of injuries.
You see the fastball, the two-seam fastball out of the hand of Gallardo, and Kadire just a bit late. You know you're pretty comfortable with your offense when you have, you know, Todd Helton as a number 6 hitter in your lineup.
Well, they packed some punch in their batting order. Walt Weiss, the new skipper of the Colorado Rockies in his first year, replacing Jim Tracy. Never managed before, Walt Weiss, so this is a new experience for him. He was reflecting on opening days as a player. He certainly remembers his first as the shortstop of the Oakland Athletics. One of his managing mentors, Tony La Russa. And I are able to lay off a good breaking ball from Gallardo, and it's 2-1.
Always important for Gallardo to be able to throw that curveball for strikes. Hadn't been able to do it yet in this inning. Sometimes it takes him a couple of innings to get a feel for that pitch.
Hitters count for Kadire. Runners at the corners. And he put that fastball right by him. 2-2. You notice the Gallardo fastball. That has been a big story this spring, and
they got it by him up in the zone.
Well placed fastball that time. Pitch number 20. 2-2, and Kadire takes a ball. Yikes.
Tough pitch to take and rewarded by Wally Bell. Man, that's a good pitch.
Now Tulowitzki will get a head start at first. Gallardo trying to make it a scoreless first inning. Kadire, center field. Gomez right there. Routine. And the top of the first in the books. The Brew Crew coming to bat for the first time. third season as the Brewers skipper, very popular manager here in Milwaukee. Got a great ovation when he was announced earlier today. Back-to-back winning seasons, a division title in his first year. And here is Renick's opening day lineup, brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Nori Aoki leads off, followed by Weeks and then Ryan Braun. Middle of the order is Ramirez, Lucroy, and Gonzalez. Gonzalez playing first base with Carlos Gomez, Gene Segura, and Giovanni Gallardo rounding it out. And that's the lineup, Rock, that will face Jhoulys Chacín, the Rockies' opening day starter.
Yep, 25 years old. Chacín, a very good earned run average, but look at the record, 23-31 with an ERA at about 3.5. He's got good stuff, making his first opening day start.
26-year-old Jhoulys Chacín, also coming back from injury last year. His first pitch down and away. Norichika Aoki at the top of the Brewers batting order. A change from a year ago. Aoki worked himself into that role last season, midway through the season. You talk to these Brewers up and down. You certainly talk to Ron Renick. And why wouldn't he be happy with his batting order? He's the one who fills out the card, but he likes the balance. And he likes how each guy has a particular role, and he especially likes Aoki in that leadoff spot, and big power in Ricky Weeks hitting second in front of Braun.
Yeah, I guess if Ron Renick's not happy with the batting order, who's going to be, right?
That's right.
Yeah, the only thing you can think about when you look at the Brewers batting order, a lot of right-handed bats. Aoki, the only lefty in the starting lineup, but Renick has pointed out over and over again how well his right-handed batters do against right-handed pitching.
3 balls and a strike on Aoki, and there's ball 4, and that's a good way to get it started. A leadoff walk. Right, Rock, let's set up the Rockies defensively. Carlos Gonzalez in left, got a very strong arm. The speedy Fowler in center with Kadire in right. And then Chris Nelson, the opening day starter at third, with Tulowitzki and Rutledge up the middle. Todd Helton making his 16th consecutive opening day start for the Rockies at first base.
And one of the best glove men around the bag in the business, even at his age. He can still pick it.
And Todd Helton tying Mike Schmidt for 4th all-time most consecutive opening day starts for one team. Here's Ricky Weeks, and strike 1 to Weeks. Well, Weeks has found a comfortable spot in that 2-hole, hitting in front of Ryan Braun. Figures to see a lot of fastballs, certainly a lot of strikes. And unable to check his swing, says first base umpire Larry Vanover. It's quickly 0-2 on Ricky Weeks.
Good breaking ball from Chacín. He throws 2 different curveball sliders. And that was the curveball that Ricky could not hold up.
Weeks had a terrific second half last year. Ended up 6th in the National League in walks last season. 74 walks. Good play by the young catcher Rosario.
Fastball down and away. Ricky able to lay off. Almost getting by Rosario.
Well, just like last year, the Brewers are going to do a lot of running this season. Very aggressive on the base paths. Aoki led all National League rookies in stolen bases last year. Had a 30 stolen base season, and most of those came in the second half.
Well, he wasn't playing every day to about, what, second week in May? That was around the time he was playing every day.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Weeks. And a foul tip into the middle. Rosario, and a strikeout for Chacín. His first out of the season is a K.
Yeah, Rosario, or I should say, Chacín's not a guy that's going to overpower you. There you see a slider on the outer half of the plate, and Ricky over the top of it.
Big hand for Ryan Braun as he's introduced for the first time at Miller Park. The grade 8. Finished second in the MVP voting last year. Buster Posey winning the MVP. Monster year last year. 41 home runs. That led the National League. He was second in the National League in runs batted in, behind only Chase Headley of the San Diego Padres. And Braun finished third in the batting average race, also won by Posey.
Keeps getting better every year. It's hard to believe, but he is.
Inside corner, called strike, and it's 0-2 on Braun. As good as Ryan Braun is, you ask him some of the things on his radar to start the year offensively, and he talks about his plate discipline and maybe a little too much plate discipline there. He takes a called strike 3.
Yeah, a couple of fastballs right on the inside corner. Chacin able to put it right where he wanted it. Rosario setting up inside. Catching Ryan Braun looking.
That is a rare bird to see Ryan Braun punched out and a backwards K.
Four-seam fastball straight as a string right on the black.
So 2 gone. Aoki still at first. Here is Aramis Ramirez. Second year as a Milwaukee Brewer. What a year he had last year. Got off to a dreadful start. Drove in 105 runs when it was all said and done. Hit an even 300. 27 homers.
Well, it's a game of averages, right? I mean, you're not really evaluated on your first couple of months or your last couple. What does it look like at the end of the season? That's pretty much what Ramirez has done throughout his career.
Now Braun and Ramirez, the top tandem in RBIs in the National League last season. Ramos hoping to get off to a better start this season. He knows he's a guy who has a tendency to start slowly. For so many years he thought it was the cold weather at Wrigley Field. So last year the thought was, well, he's in the climate controlled environment at Miller Park. He'll get off to a great start. Not the case.
Just some guys take a while.
His first 6 weeks of the season were very rough. Ball and a strike. Aramis Ramirez in his first 38 games, look at the numbers. 218 batting averages, 2 home runs, and then the last 111. That's why they call it a season.
Right. Well, and again, it's not his first season that he's done that. I mean, throughout his career, he's been a slow starter, then he picks it up, and at the end of the year, you look at the numbers and say that was a pretty good season.
Got a chance to do some early damage here in the first inning. The 2-1. Ramirez back up the middle, base hit. So got the first hit out of the way in the first inning, and it comes from Aramis Ramirez. And the Brewers with 2 on and 2 out.
Yeah, who said he's a slow starter? There's a curveball. Ramirez able to wade back, just punch it up the middle, and continues to hit well against Chacin. Over 400 for his career.
One of the pitchers he likes to face, and that'll bring up Lucroy now with 2 on and 2 away. Aramis Ramirez now 6 for 13 lifetime against Jhoulys Chacin. Jonathan Lucroy, a .320 hitter last year. He led the Brewers in batting average, which is significant when you're talking about a catcher.
And Lucroy says he feels real good. When he came back from the WBC, it was a little bit off with his timing at the plate, but the last 10 days felt good up there and ended up swinging the bat pretty well in Phoenix.
A .389 hitter with runners in scoring position. Has one there in Aoki. He's an excellent 2-strike hitter. A broken hand set him down for 7 weeks last year. Tough injury, but you know that was an injury that opened the door for Martin Maldonado. Gave him a chance to prove what he could do, and now the Brewers ecstatic about their young catchers, Lucroy and Maldonado. A tandem that last year hit for a .297 average. Lucroy pops it up, and that's going to end up in the seats in the first row.
Everybody knew what Maldonado could do behind home plate, but the reason he stuck around so long is because he swung the bat pretty well. Showed some surprising power. Catching position for the Brewers, barring any problems, is pretty much locked up for a while.
And Renicky is one of those managers that uses his backup catcher a great deal. Matter of fact, Renicky told us the other day that in case of emergency, the left-handed throwing Logan Schaefer is the emergency catcher. That would be fun to see. Lucroy will get most of the work behind the plate. You might see Maldonado over at first base. There's Logan Schaefer.
I'm sure Logan's looking forward to it. Able to hold up. Good job by Luke.
Two outs, runners in scoring position. Number 1, Jonathan Lucroy.
And the reason those numbers are like they are for Lucroy, goes up to middle and to right field very well. Stays on the baseball, makes pretty good contact. Hitters like that are usually good with runners on.
Well, Gallardo holding the Rockies scoreless in the top of the first on a couple of hits. Brewers trying to answer in the bottom of the first. 2 on, 2 out, and Lucroy takes ball 2. Lucroy, such a tough at bat. It's not just that he is confident hitting with 2 strikes, and the numbers bear that out, but he'll foul off a lot of pitches. He's not easily fooled with 2 strikes.
And he's just trying to put the ball in play, not trying to hit the home run, as a lot of hitters might have a tendency to do with men on base.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 on with 2 out. And Lucroy takes one low. The count goes full, and Lucroy will see at least 8 pitches in this at bat. Alex Gonzalez waiting to hit next. .23 pitches already for Chacín in this first inning. Runners will be on the move with the pitch. There they go, the 3-2, and Lucroy strikes out. That's a nasty breaking ball from Chacín, who strikes out the side around 2 hits.
Park. Top two as the Rockies come to the plate, and today's Tavern of the game, course Badger tap and embarrass Wisconsin. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a 2013 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin at Miller Lite.
Well, Todd Helton ready to lead off for the Rockies. Gallardo back on the mound, starts his second inning of work. Gallardo with 21 pitches. See the numbers for Helton last year, and hip surgery made it a short season last season for Todd Helton, just 69 games. A remarkable career, and many in the Rockies camp feel like this will be his last season in the major leagues.
And certainly when you look at his numbers, he has to have strong consideration for the Hall of Fame for what he's done on the field.
Well, Helton, they say, has been swinging a great bat this spring. He's healthy once again after the hip surgery, and the 16 consecutive opening day starts, the most among active players. And as we mentioned, he joins Mike Schmidt for 4th all time. If you're wondering who has the record for opening day starts for one team, that would be Brooks Robinson, the Hall of Fame third baseman with the Orioles.
Yeah.
From 1957 to 1976. The vacuum over at third base, Brooks Robinson. Slow roller out to Ramirez. Plenty of time, and Gallardo has one gone in the second. Well, let's check in with the third member of our team, Sophia Menard. Happy opening day, Sophia.
Thanks, Brian. Same to you guys up there. We'll take time now for a look at our AT&T Twitter poll for today. Today's question is, what is your favorite thing about opening day? Tweet your response to @FSWisconsin and use one of the hashtags you see on the screen. Today we have 4 choices for Brewers fans. The first, finally, baseball is back. The second, the great tailgating here at Miller Park. Skipping school or work if you choose to do so to celebrate with us. And finally, the fact that winter is over. Even though it's a cold day here, we'll just celebrate that winter is over. So Brewers fans can log on to Twitter and let us know your favorite part of opening day. I'll be back later in the game to update the results, Brian.
All right. Thanks, Sophia. She's dialed into the Twitterverse. As a little flare is going to fall, Willeen Rosario, the Rockies catcher, with a single to right center, the third Rockies hit.
I hope winter's over. A little bit cool out there today.
Cool. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Perfect inside Miller Park, but
right.
You know, temperatures in the 30s. Didn't stop the tailgating. What a scene, right? I think that's my favorite.
Awesome, you betcha.
If I had to hashtag something, it would be the tailgating. Just a great scene pulling up to the ballpark and the billows of smoke everywhere, and
yeah, you couldn't use
smells.
Skipping work. I mean, that wouldn't be you.
No, we're working.
Believe it or not.
Chris Nelson at the plate for Colorado. Gets the opening day assignment at third base. That's hit hard. Center field. Gomez right there. That ball had some heat on it. And Gomez able to run it down. I think it traveled a little further than he thought.
That's that cut fastball. Nelson able to stay back on it and hit it hard to Gomez, who had him shaded around toward right. So there's those scouting reports paying off already. Had him played perfectly.
Second out in the inning. Always an important out when you're dealing with the 8th place hitter. Now Gallardo facing the pitcher Chacin. Hack it away at the first pitch. I was pretty impressed with the tailgating scene today. You know, we had some great images from the parking lot. It's not just your standard brats tailgate situation.
Right.
Yeah, I think
pretty elaborate stuff.
Yeah, it's really dialing up a couple of notches. We're trying to figure out what some of the fare was out there today, but that was the scene earlier today. Heck, it might be a live shot. I'm not sure, but of the 45,000 that are in the stands, there's probably that many out there in the parking lot still.
Yep, half the fun at Miller Park.
Chacin shoots one through the infield, a base hit. So the Rockies pitcher extends the inning. And the 4th hit for Colorado against Gallardo.
Went down and got it. Fastball away from him and just out of the reach of Segura. That's the last thing you want to see is your pitcher getting a base hit to bring the top of the order to the plate.
Well, Chacin's a pretty good hitter for a pitcher. And he is aboard for Dexter Fowler, who singled to start the game and start the season.
He was really having a tough time throwing his off-speed pitches for strikes. His curveball, the slider. It's been basically fastball cutter that he's been able to throw for strikes.
Lucroy going through the signs. And Fowler cuts through. Says home plate umpire Wally Bell. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fowler's an X factor for the Rockies. He has great talent. Super fast. Can do a lot of things, but he strikes out a lot, especially for a leadoff hitter. Inside corner, well placed. 1-2 now.
And the Rockies hoping that he's going to be able to put the bat on the baseball, be a little bit more patient at the plate. It's all about on base percentage for your leadoff hitter. Batting average is secondary. Got to get on.
Gallardo has him down in the count. 2 on for the Rockies. And Fowler lays off. Fowler had a monster first half. Thought he was on his way. He was starting to look like an all-star outfielder in Colorado. Tailed off significantly in the second half. He had 11 first half home runs. Just 2 in the second half. But he's a young player. And when you hear the Rockies talk about Fowler, it's very similar to what you hear the Brewers when they talk about Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, they're both pretty good in the outfield. Fowler covers a lot of ground. Gomez far and away has a better arm, more power. But if both of them can get those on base percentages into the mid 300s, I mean, that would be big weapons offensively.
We'll do it again. 2-2. Rockies with 2 aboard. Fowler doesn't bite on the curveball.
Just can't get it to either get a swing or a called strike. They keep trying. There's that curveball. You see the rotation. Good job by Lucroy to block it, square it up nicely. Watch the way he throws that right shoulder around to keep it right in front of him. Well done.
Well, the runners will get the head start once again. A lot of base runners early in the first 3 frames of this game. There they go, and Fowler takes a called strike 3. Gallardo rings the bell, and the Rockies strand 2 more. Ron Roenicke excited about this year's team. Nice pickup at the end of the spring, acquiring Kyle Lohse. Giovanni Gallardo has been in some trouble, but picks up his first strikeout of the season and has stranded 4 Rockies so far.
And that's the thing about Gallardo, which makes him so special. Even when he doesn't have his great stuff, he's able to get through lineups and minimize damage. A beautiful pitch to get Fowler in the top of the inning. Hey, you talk about Ron Roenicke and the pickup of Kyle Lohse. He was equally excited about getting Yuniesky Betancourt. Good guy coming off the bench, very flexible guy that play anywhere. He'll give you a good at bat. Very pleased with the late spring pickups by Doug Melvin this year.
And Roenicke taking the chance and putting Alex Gonzalez at first base. Roenicke has a way with these players, and they all respect him a great deal. And Alex Gonzalez getting a chance to play every day at the start of the year with Corey Hart still on the disabled list. The Brewers lost Matt Gamble before games began this spring. He retore the ACL in his surgically repaired knee. Tough break for Gamble. He was out quickly. He's going to be gone most of the season, if not all of the season. And then Corey Hart coming back from knee surgery. And Hart is expected back late April to early May, somewhere in that time frame. So in the meantime, Alex Gonzalez took to the role of playing first base. He did a terrific job this spring, and lo and behold, after tearing his ACL last year, he is on an opening day lineup and in the starting lineup on opening day.
If there's any silver lining to the injury to Gamble, when it happening early, gave Roenicke the opportunity to try a number of different players over there, and he found that Gonzalez was outstanding. Hey, this coming Sunday, the Brewers take on the Diamondbacks at 1:10 p.m. and all fans in attendance will get a Nori Aoki bobblehead courtesy of Robert Hack Diamonds. Visit Brewers.com for tickets.
That'll be the next time Gallardo is back on the mound on Sunday, wrapping up the first homestand of the year. Gonzalez, the free swinger, draws the walk against his countryman Jhoulys Chacín, and now Carlos Gomez. Got 2 cargos in this game, Carlos Gomez and Carlos Gonzalez. Coming off a 19 home run season last season, as Gomez, in the classic Gomez style, launches his bat, a brand new black bat. That's a beautiful bat, but it's gone.
A nice souvenir for a fan. They just grabs another one. Easy come, easy go for Gomez.
Yeah, there used to be a day when you'd give away a pitcher's bat to get yours back, right?
You want your gamer, but not these days. There it goes.
A little half swing foul, and it's 0-2 on Gomez. Opening days and Carlos Gomez have fit nicely together, especially during his time here as a Milwaukee Brewer. He has 9 hits in 21 opening day at bats in his career. This is the 6th opening day start for Carlos Gomez. 9 for 21 with 2 homers. Has homered in consecutive years for the Brewers on opening day.
It was a couple of years ago, he and Ricky back to back to start the season for Milwaukee.
Yeah, Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
Gonzalez at first, not a threat to run. And the count evens 2-2.
And we saw Gomez be very patient at the plate in spring training. You hope that he's going to be able to continue that here in the regular season. On base percentage was good. He was drawing his walks. And because of that, he had a batting average in the upper 300s.
You can see both pitchers just fighting with their stuff or their mechanics in the early going. A lot of pitches for both, but no runs on the board just yet. 2-2. Gomez gets sawed off. Little flare. Out there is Rutledge coming in. Kadire can't get there. Gonzalez has to restart, and Gonzalez is going to be out at second base. Gonzalez got stuck in no man's land. That's a tough read for a base runner, and a strong throw and an easy put out at second base.
Yeah, not much you can do. You go off the bag too far and towards second base, and Kadire catches it, and you're an easy out at first. You can see Gonzalez not knowing where to go. It's a heck of a job backing up out there, and they get the out at second base. Kadire playing deep. Not very fast, not anymore. But check out Rutledge backing it up and making a good throw to short.
That's a shortstop's arm playing second base in Rutledge. And it ends up going as a 4-6 put out. Gomez reaches on a fielder's choice. Not a whole lot of second basemen who can make that throw. Here's Segura now on an opening day roster for the first time.
And watch the backup of the second baseman Rutledge. He gets on it right away, spins around and throws a strike out to Tulowitzki. Just getting Gonzalez. That was a good play.
Heck of a play. And Gomez picked off. So Gomez is out, and that's how the inning ends. A little over aggressive for Carlos Gomez. Oh, I beg your pardon. The second out. Gomez officially will go down as a caught stealing as he was breaking the second base.
Big lead, and he flinched, and that's all it took. Good pickoff, quick bait by Chacin. Able to get the out on the rundown. 3-6-4 on the putout, or is that the pitcher Chacin? 3-6-1.
And the bases are empty with 2 away. And speedy Segura. Well, what a hitter he looks like he's going to be. Gene Segura ended the season with the Brewers last year, had a terrific year, coming over from the Angels in the trade for Zach Greinke. Made the jump from Double-A to the big leagues last year. Never spent a day in Triple-A, and then he went to winter ball and he won a batting title this winter. Very aggressive hitter. You don't see many walks from Segura.
And came in with a lot of confidence. I mean, just he just looked as though in spring training that he knew he belonged, and he had a good spring to prove it.
He certainly has that star potential to him, the way he carries himself, and he becomes the 5th different opening day shortstop in those 5 years. Hardy, Escobar, Betancourt, and then Gonzalez last year. Segura sends that one to center field, playable for Fowler. And the side is retired. 2 in the books at Miller Park on opening day. We'll visit with Mark Attanasio here in the booth when we continue. Gallardo back on the mound, starting his third inning of work. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, and joining us here in the booth is Mark Attanasio. Opening day for the Brewers owner. What a great scene, right? I mean, I know we go through this every year, but this is fantastic.
I was actually just trying to take a picture. I was over in the radio booth trying to get one of those iPhone panoramic shots. Just awesome.
Would you text me that one? That'd be a good one.
Yeah, I didn't do
we'll
it.
Tweet it.
I'll tweet it. Right.
It's good to have you here, Mark, and I know you're certainly excited about this ballpark, how full it is, the tailgating scene that we had, and you guys were very busy at the end of the spring with player acquisitions as well. Talk us through the Kyle Loesch situation from your seat.
Well, one of the things we talk about is, Doug and his group are working right to the end, both, up to the trade deadline and then up to the end of spring training. And obviously we added Kyle and we added Uni Betancourt at the very end. So, Kyle, we just, I think we said in the press conference today, we probably went back and forth over 10 days. It was very hard to give up that draft choice. It's very hard to not add a pitcher of his stature, to this club.
You got to be happy with what you have out there, what you've been able to put together on the field. I mean, not just this year, but down the road, you've locked up some players, and this should be a very competitive ball club, and it even gets better when Corey Hart comes back.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're competitive right now, and we don't get a lot of love in the national media, and that's okay.
They don't play, do they?
No, and as Doug always says, the games are played on the field and not played on paper. But this group of young players performed really well into last year, and adding Gonzalez back as a veteran, adding Uni back, who we won 96 games with him starting shortstop as role players, bringing in Kyle Loesch, who was 16-3 last year and has World Series ring. We've really we really added things on the veteran side to surround the young players with.
Well, it's so interesting to talk to Mark throughout the year. And I remember we had a conversation at spring training. I believe it was after the very first spring training game, which is back in February, believe it or not. And
it seems like it was yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, went fast.
And you said you feel good about maybe getting Kyle Loesch, and you had your sights set on him, and I think it speaks very well of you as an owner. I know fans really appreciate this about you, but you're a competitive dog, and you want to win, and that's what comes from you a lot. And I think fans really embrace that part of your ownership.
I do like to win. When it comes to baseball and being competitive, that's a good trait.
Yes.
Sometimes the over-competitiveness is not a good trait, but look, really, I think it makes such a difference this year now for us to be in the conversation. You look at any of our matchups, we put all of our pitchers in a position to succeed. Now with everybody sliding down a notch with Kyle coming in the rotation. Chris Narveson now in the bullpen gives us a lot of depth in the bullpen, and you almost never get. In fact, I don't think you ever get through a year with just 5 starters.
Right.
So Narvi will have an opportunity to start this year for sure.
Were you able to address the ball club today? I know you addressed the club in spring training.
Right.
Could you share with us the kind of things you talk about with the club?
Well, yeah. What I do actually is I just talked to the club at the very first day of spring training and the end of the last series, the first day of the last series. Opening day, there's way too much going on for me to go. All I could get through today was kind of cruise through and say hello to everybody. Actually, welcome Uni back. And I want to go meet Kyle. I've talked to him on the phone, but I didn't meet him in person, and I want to meet him in person.
Tulowitzki sends one deep right center. This is trouble, and this is up and out of here. Troy Tulowitzki with an opposite field missile, and a 2-run home run puts the Rockies on the board. The first run scored of the season comes from the opponent.
Yeah, it's amazing how Tulowitzki just continues to hammer Brewer pitching. I mean, well over 400 for his career. 2 for 2 today. A high fastball from Gallardo. Low 90s. That was at 91 miles an hour. Tulowitzki taking it to the opposite field and crushes it. just amazing how some guys have the ability to hit certain teams. I mean, it's just no rhyme or reason to it.
Here's Kadire off the end of the bat, out to Ryan Braun in left, and 2 men are gone. So 2 gone. Well, Mark, it's always fun to talk baseball, but from a business perspective, how do you feel about where things are with the club? I know you've got a lot of events here outside of baseball coming up. The Kenny Chesney concert here this summer, and a full ballpark, and I'm sure you're expecting 3 million fans once again. You put that on the Rick Schlesinger and his team.
Yeah, put a little pressure on Rick. A lot of getting to actually 3 million fans depending on how well we play, but you can see today the kind of crowds we bring out here. Frankly, it helps us recruit players. It helped us recruit Kyle Loesch. It helped us recruit Aramis Ramirez last year. Guys want to play in front of packed house, and it's very helpful. But from business side, we got a lot of sponsors now, over 100, which I think that's more than double what we had when we started. You look around the stadium, all the signs out there. Very few of these sponsors, if I recollect, were actually here. Journal Sentinel and Clements, obviously, but Harley Davidson, I don't think was here when we started. I remember seeing Allstate banner up there, and ATI in the deck there, the dew deck, and all new. Dale Club new. So Johnson Controls, we have a new spot. They, I think, may have been with us when we started, but we didn't have the Stadium Club and other sponsorship that we have with them. So that really helps us along, starting with fan support and the support of our sponsors. Really helps us put the kind of team that they will put on the field.
Now, whose idea is the rock climbing one? Was that you or Debbie, or have you been up there yet?
I think Rock would be a perfect endorser of that. The rock wall.
I'd be afraid to go up there.
I asked Rick Schlesinger how we got through the insurance with that. And, somehow we did.
Held into left field, and that's that in the top of the third. Mark, great to have you. Happy opening day to you. And
thanks, Mark. Appreciate
it. And thanks to all our fans. Go Brewers.
We look forward to a terrific season. Mark Attanasio, the Brewers owner, back to his familiar seats by the dugout. Two-run home run. We head to the bottom of the third, and a reminder that Fox Saturday Baseball returns with 3 great matchups. The Angels and the Texas Rangers. You can also see the Yankees take on the defending AL champ, the Detroit Tigers, or the Cardinals and the World Series champion San Francisco Giants. Debut of Fox Saturday Baseball, April 6th. Coming up this Saturday. Tulowitzki goes deep. An impressive home run to the opposite field. And answering any questions about his health after the sports hernia surgery last year, and the Brewers find themselves down 2-0. Jhoulys Chacín has allowed just 1 hit through the first 2 innings. He has 3 strikeouts. Gallardo leads off, then back to the top of the order. It's good to catch up with Mark Attanasio. Very busy man, and it's always fun to hear his perspective.
He didn't answer the question as to whether he's been up on the rock climbing wall.
I don't think he's going to do that. He went straight to the insurance questions.
Right.
Fully covered. And then Gallardo is out on strikes as we send it down to Sophia.
Well, Brian, Brewers 10-packs are still available, and with each purchase, you can get a free 11th game. So, what are you waiting for? Call 414-902-HITS. That's 4487, or visit brewers.com/10packs today, Brian.
Thank you, Sophia. I think they pulled the plug on you, Rock, on your what are you waiting for?
I don't know.
Turn that over to the professionals.
I mean, a lot of my responsibilities have gone away. I'm kind of starting to wonder. Although Sophia does a much better job than I do.
Just easier on the ears.
I can understand.
Right. Ouch. Aoki jumped out of the way, and that got a pretty good chunk of Wally Bell behind the plate.
Yeah, missed Nori, then missed Rosario, and then got Wally Bell.
Oh,
right on the toe. Yeah, they wear, you know, those work shoes with the steel toes. Those are the kind of shoes that they have behind home plate. So a glancing blow, he'll be fine.
Yeah, better for an umpire to take one there than a catcher or a hitter.
Maybe you don't know what the work shoes are with the steel toes. I assume that you did.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Come on. Now, I've never.
Well, you looked at me like you didn't.
I've never personally
sure
worn steel-toed shoes before.
You're aware of them, though.
Oh, yeah. I know people who have. Nori Aoki batting for the second time. He started with a walk. Two balls, two strikes. And Aoki pulls one foul. Aoki has some history with Jhoulys Chacín and the Colorado Rockies. He's not known as a big power threat, but Nori Aoki did have some moments. And his first home run was against this pitcher, Jhoulys Chacín. And it didn't go over the fence. It was an inside the Parker.
Yep, right down the left field line. I remember it well. Playing him shallow, tried to make the dive, did Cargo, and
that one is hit high and deep to right field. That's got a chance to go, and there it goes! Inside to out. 1 year to the next. And Nori Aoki now with 2 career home runs against Jhoulys Chacín.
Timing is everything. Wow, how about that? Put it on the screen, then he hits one. Well, maybe that'll get the crew going and try and figure out Jhoulys Chacín, who's been throwing the baseball pretty well.
First home run of the year for the Brewers belongs to their leadoff hitter, Nori Aoki. He hit 10 last year. 9 of them went over the fence.
Yep, down and in, wasn't even a strike. And look at the way Aoki pulls the hands in, opens up the hips, and put it in the right spot. Shortest part of the ballpark.
As he sees it go over the fence, Kadire was back there and gave a leap, but it was just out of his reach. Into the ATI zone out there as Weeks bounces one to third base. Nelson makes a play for the out. And 2 men are gone here in the Brewers' third inning. 2 gone for Ryan Braun. A strikeout victim in the first inning. Chassin has 4 strikeouts. Braun was caught looking on an inside fastball.
Well, let's see what the Rockies decided to do to him this at bat. Do they continue to stay inside, or they try and switch it up a bit? Two perfect pitches on the inside corner to get Braun his first time up. I guess when a pitcher does that, you tip your hat. Not many can do it. Not on back-to-back pitches anyway.
Braun in the air to left. That is going to stay playable. Wow, that ball had some funny spin to it. Looked like it was headed for the seats. But it ends up as an out and in fair territory. So Braun retired. Inning is over. Aoki puts the Brewers on the board. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin, and by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Opening day at Miller Park, 2-1 Colorado as we head to the 4th inning. All runs coming on the long ball so far. Tulowitzki hit a 2-run shot in the top of the 3rd. Nori Aoki with a solo home run in the bottom half. Gallardo ready to go here. Starts his 4th inning facing Wilin Rosario, power hitting Rockies catcher at the plate. Bottom 3 due up: Rosario, Chris Nelson, and the pitcher Chassin. Gallardo trying to do something that he has never done on 2 marks. He's never beaten the Colorado Rockies lifetime. And he has never won a game on opening day. He's making his 4th opening day start. A couple of trends he would like to turn around here this afternoon.
Man, still trying to find that curveball, but he's been able to get through this Rockies lineup with 2 runs on the board through 3 innings.
Rosario swings away. What a great play. Ramirez throw to first is late.
And just couldn't get anything on the throw. Good job by Ramirez just to get the ball in his glove.
Well, Ramos saves a double.
Just a step and a dive, and looks like it took a hop. He brought his glove up, but just no way to get a throw off. It was a hooking one hopper. Nice job by Ramirez to keep him at first base.
And so a man on. Rosario with his 2nd hit, and the Rockies now with 7 hits against Gallardo. as Chris Nelson takes a strike. And Nelson takes a ball. 1-1 the count on the Rockies' third baseman. Nelson, a good hitter. He proved last year he could hit in the big leagues. Hit .301 last season. 9 homers, 53 runs batted in. Almost 350 big league at bats. Spent about 2/3 of the season in the major leagues. If you're playing every day and you're getting your 4 or 5 at bats a day, you'll end up with about 600 plus at bats. So,
man, he was getting everyday at bats from mid-August all the way to the end of the season, and was really swinging it well.
slow roller foul past third base.
Third base has been a bit of a problem for the Rockies for a number of years. Haven't been able to find anybody to stay over there for any extended period of time. Nelson's going to get a shot this year.
Rockies have a terrific prospect coming up at third base. Nolan Arenado, who is starting the season at AAA. Walt Weiss making that decision to go with Nelson because of that experience last year, the fact that he held his own. He's a good defender. Walt Weiss managing for the very first time. He'd never managed at any level, never even coached.
It's like Robin Ventura and Mike Matheny last year.
Line shot left field, and the Rockies are pounding away here. Their 8th hit. And now 2 on as we check in with Sophia. Where are you at, Sophia?
Well, Brian, I'm behind home plate, and I am joined now by the mother of Martin Maldonado, Jeanette Valdez. And when you make your first opening day roster, you need to fly in your mom. And so Jeanette has flown in from San Juan, Puerto Rico. She arrived yesterday. Jeanette, what was it like to see Martin part of the opening day introductions here at Miller Park?
I give thanks to God, first of all, because I knew he was going to make it. Since he was small, I knew he was going to make it. He was going to be in the big league. I feel proud of him.
You said that you knew when he was 4 years old, as young as that he was going to make it here to the big leagues. But what did that moment feel like to see him introduced and to see him play here with the Brewers?
It's real emotional for me. And I feel in my heart that I already realized my life, making him doing his life in the big league.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Have fun cheering on Martin this season. Brian?
All right, Sophia, thanks. Jeanette Valdez, that's a great story. And, you know, you go through a season, you kind of get to know these players, and then you start to go a little deeper with the families and know what they go through watching their children play. And I know Jeanette was so proud of Martin when he played for Team Puerto Rico in the WBC this spring. Got a chance to represent his country. A lot of families here today, and the Brewers, as Rock mentioned, have 8 players. Martin is one of them. 8 players who are on an opening day roster in the major leagues for the first time. That's 8 players of a 25-man roster.
Yeah, that's a lot of guys, but only one. That's Chris Davis, who have no big league experience. So it's kind of deceptive. It's deceiving.
Chacin trying to bunt, takes a strike, and now it's 2-2. Brewers have their corner infielders in. Chacin going to try to get a bunt down with 2 strikes here. And he cannot, and that's strike 3. So the Rockies pitcher gives the Brewers and Gallardo an out. And for Gallardo, that's strikeout number 3.
And even with 2 strikes, the Brewers infield very shallow. There's your cut fastball right there. You see the spin on it going down and away. Chacin not able to make contact.
Back to the top of the order, Dexter Fowler. Tough guy to double up here. He'd have to hit one right on the nose at an infielder if the Brewers are going to get out of this inning with one swing of the bat. There's a breaking ball strike.
A couple of curveballs now that Gallardo has been able to find the strike zone. That's encouraging. Pitch count starting to creep up now at 73. Talking Ron Renicky before the game, around 100 is the limit for Gallardo.
Fowler doesn't bite this time. Troy Tulowitzki with a 2-run home run in the third off Gallardo. In Gallardo's last spring training start, he went 6 1/3 against the Royals. That ball is hit hard to right, and down it goes, a base hit. And they're going to send the runner. Nope, they'll hold Rosario, and now Nelson is caught off. And we'll see if the Brewers can execute the rundown. Gonzalez does a great job here. And we'll put the tag on Nelson. That was a
nice
fantastic job by Alex Gonzalez.
That is beauty. No throws. He knew exactly what the situation was. All he had to do was run the man at second, being Nelson, to third. Rosario was going to stay there. A good throw by Aoki, hitting the cutoff man number 1. 2-man at third base, and Gonzalez does the rest. Without a throw, he gets the out. And that's what you love about Alex Gonzalez. The guy that did not have third base initially is the guy that is going to be out in that situation.
It's like herding cattle, right? He went right to the spot. Didn't let him get back to second base.
Exactly, and didn't even need the lasso.
Nice. Well, they talk about baseball instincts. Ron Renicky talks about this with Gonzalez all the time. There's nothing that shows that better than that play right there for a guy who is playing his very first game of his career at first base.
And with all that went on right there, the put out is 9-3.
9-3. The fewer throws, the better. Just incredible instincts. So now Gallardo a chance to get out of this inning. 2 outs, runners at the corners. And a shot to short. Segura right there. That's that in the Rockies' 4th. A wipe of the brow. Gallardo's given up 9 hits. 2-1 Colorado.
Trail 2-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Milwaukee Brewers baseball players, in partnership with Brewers Community Foundation, take great pride in our efforts to positively impact the lives of children and families in greater Milwaukee and Wisconsin. Milwaukee Brewers Baseball Club recognizes the strong support provided by our fans and other supporters. We are proud to announce that 100% of our players have committed to give back to the community. We understand teamwork and recognize that if we are all in, we can make a difference. Go Brewers! Now, Rock, we also have today's Car Soup Email the Booth question, your favorite. Charlie in Cudahy wants to know, does experience matter when playing in front of a big crowd on opening day?
Well, to answer that question, I was hoping to get a shot of Alex Gonzalez, that last play that he was able to get 2 men off at third. Perfect example of not panicking, understanding the situation. A lot of young players might have a tendency to throw that baseball, maybe throw it away. Big run down, but Gonzalez handled it perfectly. The more you do something, Sophia, the better are your chances of getting the job done right and not panicking. And that's exactly what Alex Gonzalez did that time.
Well, it is 2-1 Colorado, and you think about that play Gonzalez makes. It's an awkward looking kind of play with an infielder running all the way across the infield as Ramirez is rung up. Down he goes on strikes. And Chacin burning off that inside corner once again. Now with 5 strikeouts. Having a chat with Wally Bell. And we'll go ahead and name that Gonzalez play as our shining moment, brought to you by Marshfield Clinic.
Nothing really happens here if Aoki doesn't hit the cutoff man, which he's able to do. And then watch Alex Gonzalez. He does the rest. He sees the situation, making sure that Rosario is not going to head home. And once he stays on third, the play becomes very easy. But none of that is going to happen if Aoki misses the cutoff man. That will blow that play up very quickly.
And you're looking at bases loaded and 1 out. It was a base running blunder, first of all, by the Rockies, as Lucroy on the ground to Rutledge for out number 2.
Yeah, you can't run with your head down. You can't assume that third base coach is going to send the runner, particularly when the catcher is on second base. Had his head down on his way to third, and that was the problem the Rockies had.
So here is Gonzalez now with 2 outs. Has not been a clean inning for either one of these pitchers so far today. Chacin did face just 3 batters in the second, but issued a walk in that inning. Carlos Gomez was picked off first base. But Chacin has the first 2 gone here in the 4th. The lone run for the Brewers, an Aoki home run. And Gonzalez out in front, easy enough for Dexter Fowler, and a 1-2-3 inning for Jhoulys Chacin. 2-1 Rockies. We go to the 5th. That this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Milwaukee Brewers Baseball Club. Great crowd today, a sellout here at Miller Park. Opening day 2013. We are back at it tomorrow night. Final 2 games of the series against the Rockies. Both night games on the air for Brewers Live at 6:30. 2-1 Colorado. And the tough part of the order coming up against Gallardo. Carlos Gonzalez leads off, then Tulowitzki, and then Michael Kadire. Gallardo's pitch count is near 80 right now, sitting at 78.
Well, Brewers are hoping to get around 100, maybe a couple of more, couple of less for Gallardo. Hopefully he has a quick inning. He could use one.
Tulowitzki with a 2-run homer in the 3rd. Aoki hit a solo shot in the bottom of the 3rd. We've seen Gallardo much better than he is looking today. Just doesn't have that crisp fastball that he typically has. He's battling, and although he's given up 9 hits, only 2 runs thus far.
And the other thing that makes it more difficult for him is he really hasn't had much command of his curveball. Thrown a couple for strikes. He really hasn't gotten any outs with the curveball. And when you don't have that big live fastball, that could be problems for you. But Gallardo, as you mentioned, battling on.
That ball is hit high in the air right field, and Aoki at the wall looking up. There it goes. Another long home run. Carlos Gonzalez with his first of the year, and it was a no-doubter. And that's a milestone home run for Gonzalez. That is career home run number 100. Three to 1 Colorado.
Yeah, Gallardo got behind the count. 2-1 pitch. And a fastball middle in, and Carlos Gonzalez certainly not going to miss that. It was supposed to be away. You saw Lucroy setting up on the outside corner. Had to reach across the plate, and Gonzalez hit it out. There's a curveball.
And in there for a strike on Tulowitzki. Tremendous tandem here in Tulowitzki and Gonzalez. And those two weren't in the lineup very often last year. Tulowitzki's last game last year was May 30th. Bouncing ball to Segura. He's got a great arm. Right on the money. Tulowitzki is retired. First time Tulowitzki has been retired today.
And Gallardo able to get a curveball over the plate, and Tulowitzki out in front. Check out the arm for Segura. He gets his momentum going toward first base and throws a strike over to Gonzalez. Kid looks smooth over there.
He's such a good player. And came up through the Angels system as a second baseman. So you're thinking, well, he must not have a good arm, right? And talking to the folks who saw him coming up through the minor leagues, various scouts and some personnel with the Angels, I think it was all body type. You look at Segura, he doesn't look like a big league shortstop. I mean, he's 5'9", maybe 5'10". He's built like a second baseman. He kind of reminded a lot of people of Lou Whitaker. And it just took the Angels finally realizing that he has plenty of arm to play the shortstop position, plenty of range. And I think Ron Renicky, who has a lot of friends over there with the Angels, was surprised at how good he is at short.
How fast it happened. I mean, he looked pretty good defensively last year. A little bit challenged with the bat, but after a good winter, getting some at bats, and he has come into spring training with a lot of confidence this year. And don't minimize the impact that Alex Gonzalez and Aramis Ramirez have had on him in that infield. They are good mentors to Gene Segura. Ricky Weeks, say the same for Ricky.
Some bullpen activity here in the 5th. Alfredo Figueroa, who is on an opening day roster for the first time. Looks like he might be first out of the pen.
Boy, he had a good spring.
Helton due up next. Here's Segura again. No problem. 2 outs. So Gallardo, after the home run to Gonzalez, comes back, gets a couple of 6-3 ground outs to Tulowitzki and Kadire, and that'll bring up Todd Helton. Gallardo with a 21-pitch first inning, giving up 2 hits. Rockies scored in the 3rd inning, that 2-run homer by Tulowitzki, and they've added 1 here in the 5th.
Yeah, he could use a quick inning, although he did give up the home run. An early out to Todd Helton would help him here.
Helton, ever patient. He begins the season with the Colorado Rockies as the franchise leader in games, runs, hits. He has over 2,400 hits. He leads the Rockies franchise in doubles, total bases, home runs. He's hit 354 career home runs, and leads the franchise in RBIs and walks. He's the face of the franchise for all of those reasons. And he draws the walk here, and a base runner with 2 away.
And first walk by Yabani. You know, the one stat that you were reading off there that's very surprising, not just to me, but most people that will look at that, the hits. I would have thought that he would be close to 3,000.
2,420.
It's a lot of hits, but I thought he'd be pushing 3,000 hits. Incredible numbers, and you would think that a Hall of Fame selection is forthcoming.
And a great defensive first baseman as well.
And just the RBIs alone gets you into the Hall of Fame. All those RBIs.
He won a batting title, Todd Helton. And what could be his final season in the big leagues. His first big league action came in 1997. This is his 17th year and his 16th consecutive opening day start. Willeen Rosario, bouncing ball to Ramirez, and he goes to second, the easy way to end the inning. But Gonzalez, Cargo, extends the lead to 3-1. Head to the bottom of the 5th. Rick Kranitz having a chat with Giovanni Gallardo, who is likely done here. His spot in the batting order due up 3rd in this bottom of the 5th inning. Well, our home run leaderboard is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery. And the Brewers team leaders in home runs last season. Ryan Braun not only led the club, but led the National League with 41 home runs. And Carlos Gomez was the sneaky one in there. Almost a 20-homer season at 19. And 16 of those 19 came in his final 63 at-bats, I believe it was.
2 guys on that list had to come up with big second halves to put up the numbers of home runs that they did. Ricky Weeks and Carlos Gomez.
Gomez leads off. Brewers down a pair. And have been out hit today 10-2. The 2 hits for the Brewers so far today. Aramis Ramirez had a single. And then Nori Aoki homered over the fence and right. Carlos Gomez, the second half he had once his playing time became regular and he was in the lineup just about every day, the numbers just took off, and it was what he did in the second half and really the last 7-8 weeks of the season that spurred on the notion that the Brewers should lock up Carlos Gomez, especially after the contract that Michael Bourne signed with the Cleveland Indians. The Brewers feel like they have a very good center fielder who, with some security, is going to continue to hit and get better, and you see the second half discrepancy with 14 home runs after the All-Star break.
Well, Gomez missed considerable time last year in the first half, which actually gave Nori Aoki an opportunity. But see how Carlos Gomez and Ryan Braun ranked last year with 15 homers and 30 stolen bases. Pretty good list.
Absolutely. The power speed combos in the big leagues, and Gomez.
I guess Jimmy Rollins would be the surprise guy on that list at his age. And I guess when you're playing Citizens Bank Ballpark, the home runs are going to be there. That's bandbox, but Jerry Roll can still run.
Yeah. And the Uptons, of course, Braun is seemingly always on that list. He's had back-to-back 30-30 seasons. Actually went for a 40-30 season last year. It's been fun to watch Gomez, though. He brings a lot of energy every day. He's never in a bad mood. I mean, he's just one of those guys that shows up in a good mood and ready to work and ready to bring some enthusiasm to the ballpark every day. He loves the game. And for so many years, because of his speed, organizations tried to turn him into a kind of a punch and Judy hitter, a slap hitter. Wanted him to bunt more. And it was really Dale Swain, who at the time was the Brewers hitting coach, that had the notion to just unleash him. Let him do what's comfortable. Let him swing.
No, the other way wasn't working at all, right? What do you have to lose? I mean, just let him go. Let him be the guy he wants to be.
Full count to Gomez. In the air to right. Pretty well hit. Backing up on it, Kadire. And he's got room.
And just a little on the end. Gomez doing a nice job staying back and waiting on it, driving it into right field. Just didn't get all of it. Kadire plays, average depth out and right. And taking a look at that wall, that extra wide warning track out there in the outfield, and hauls it in.
One gone. Here is Segura in tight. Almost hit him.
Kadire's played just about every position in the big leagues. Has he caught? I don't think he's caught, but
he could.
He'll play anywhere in the infield. He's played all 3 outfield positions.
Bouncer to third. This is Nelson. And Chacin starting to dial it in here. He's now retired 7 straight. And with that in mind, Giovanni Gallardo will swing the bat. I'm not sure Gallardo is coming back out to pitch, but Roenicke might want to protect his bench a little bit at this point. He had Chris Davis in the on-deck circle, but after that second out, Gallardo.
Yeah, they've only got 4 guys on the bench because they have 8 pitchers in the bullpen.
And Gallardo makes it another easy inning for Jhoulys Chacin. Reverse rewind as we move to the 6th inning. The long ball's been on display here today. Troy Tulowitzki, a 2-run shot in the 3rd. Nori Aoki answered in the bottom of the 3rd. Goes over the fence for the first home run of the year for the Brewers. Carlos Gonzalez gets into the act. A solo home run against Gallardo in the 5th inning. And that's where we sit, 3-1. Aoki had a home run last year against Chacin that was an inside the Parker. This one goes outside the park. And the only run on 2 hits today for the Brew Crew. Gallardo is in fact done for the day. And Alfredo Figueroa will be making his National League debut. He did get some big league time with the Tigers a few years ago after a couple of seasons in Japan.
Yeah, a non-roster invite that made the ball club. And when you're invited to spring training as a non-roster, you have to open up some eyes and be pretty good, which he was. 11 appearances in spring training and a 240 earned run average for Alfredo Figueroa. Very impressive spring.
Figueroa facing Chris Nelson to start the 6th inning, making his Brewers debut here this afternoon. It is a very tough road to go from a non-roster invitee to an opening day roster in the big leagues, but that's the path that Figueroa has gone down.
And there was a number of non-roster invite pitchers that did pretty well. It wasn't just Figueroa.
Figueroa and Donovan Hand battled for that final spot in the bullpen. And Renicky and Rick Kranich, like both of them, different style pitchers. Figueroa brings a lot more velocity. On a hop to Segura. He's been busy in the last couple of innings. And one away for Figueroa.
We have residents in Milwaukee, Ozaki, Racine, Washington, and Waukesha counties can purchase half-price tickets to Brewers games versus the Pirates and the Cardinals April 29th through May 3rd. Some restrictions apply. Save 50% on tickets at brewers.com/5county.
Jhoulys Chacin, the Rockies pitcher, at the plate. He had a hit against Gallardo in the 2nd inning. Chacin singled against Giovanni in the 2nd. 10 hits for the Rockies against Giovanni Gallardo today. And Giovanni will remain winless against the Colorado Rockies. It has been the one team, the nemesis team for him. Gallardo ends up with 5 innings, 3 runs allowed, the home run by Tulowitzki and Gonzalez, and a walk and 3 strikeouts.
I think did a pretty good job given the fact that he really didn't have that good curveball today and relied heavily on the fastball and the cutter. When you go out there with 2 pitches and you really can't locate the 3rd, it makes it tough, but Giovanni did a pretty good job.
Against a good hitting team, the Rockies, everybody expects them to swing the bats. They're going to be a team that puts up a lot of runs this year, especially if Tulowitzki and Gonzalez stay healthy. And that's as good of a 1-2 punch as there is in the game. And it's a right-left punch as well. Chacin takes a called strike 3. And 2 gone for Figueroa, his first strikeout as a Brewer.
94 miles an hour for Figueroa in that last pitch. He's got a little tail to it. He'll throw a slider. There it is, 2-seamer going down as it gets to home plate and catches the bottom half of the strike zone.
Best part about making the opening day roster, when you're a non-roster invitee, you get to upgrade your number. He upgraded from number 76 to number 45. You're easy to spot when you're wearing number 76 in spring training.
Got a high number and you're right by the door.
You speak from experience.
Yes, I do.
Fowler batting for the 4th time. He has 2 hits, a strikeout. Figueroa said he learned a lot in Japan over the last couple of years. He went from a thrower to a pitcher, pitching in Japan the last 2 seasons.
A lot of pitchers that go over to Japan will tell you that. Remember, Cameron Lowe used to talk about that quite a bit. Out of the Dominican Republic. Not a big guy, but he's got a big arm.
Just a little time in the big leagues with the Tigers in 2009 and 2010. And he ties up Dexter Fowler. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And welcome to Milwaukee, Alfredo Figueroa. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of punch-outs. Two to the Colorado Rockies on opening day. Nori Aoki responsible for that run. And the first home run of the season, our Powerball home run count delivered by Nori Aoki. Might have been the last choice. But Aoki goes deep against Jhoulys Chacín. And the Brewers on the board. Just 1 of 2 hits today, Rock.
Yeah, Chacín has been very impressive. I mean, he's had a good breaking pitch, and Aoki continues to hit him well. A walk and a homer today.
Inside the park home run last year and puts one over the fence this year. Chacín looks like he is dialed in right now. He's throwing all of his pitches for strikes. He's started to use a little changeup. He has retired 8 straight since the Aoki home run. Into left field. That ball's got some carry, and oh, what a catch by Gonzalez. Playing Aoki shallow, had to go a long way to haul that one in.
That was a nice catch out there. And how about the power for Aoki to the opposite field? Yeah, they used to play Nori a lot more shallow out in the left field early last year, but that's not all that shallow. It's in a little bit, but not much. But what a nice recovery by Carlos Gonzalez to haul that one in. That looked like extra bases off the bat. Good speed. Caught up to it.
And that's 9 in a row retired by Chacín. Here's Ricky Weeks. And a shot underneath the glove of Tulowitzki on the dive. Weeks thinking about 2, and he's on his way. And the throw to second in plenty of time.
Can't do that. Not down by 2 runs. I mean, that wasn't even close.
Gonzalez has a great arm, and with Braun coming up, Ricky Weeks runs in to an out. Unnecessary.
Yep, Tulowitzki couldn't get there. Gonzalez gets there quickly, has a very strong, accurate arm, and that's about no contest there. Well, neither team doing a very good job at running the bases today.
He's just trying to do too much. But a base running mistake, and the bases are empty for Ryan Braun. Braun today against Chacin is 0 for 2. He struck out looking in the first inning, and then a lazy fly ball his last time up.
Yeah, lazy fly ball that looked like one of my tee shots. I think Braun thought that was in the seats. Foul. They just kind of sliced right back down the line fair.
They never moved like that, right? He pulled one down the line, and typically when you do that, they hook foul. I thought it was going to be 20 rows deep in the stands, but it actually had a slice on it. It spun the other way, and it ended up being caught in fair territory. Chacin has him down a ball and 2 strikes. And down he goes. Jhoulys Chacin dialed in. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Opening day, Miller Park, Milwaukee. The Rockies lead the Brew Crew 3-1. Alfredo Figueroa back on the mound for the Crew. An impressive Brewers debut. 3 up and 3 down for Figueroa in the 6th with a couple of strikeouts. Josh Rutledge will lead off. Rutledge, Gonzalez, and Tulowitzki. Not much going on offensively for the Brewers. Just 3 hits. And a base hit by Rutledge. So the first hit that Figueroa allows. A leadoff single. And the power company coming up for Colorado. Figueroa bringing the heat. Striking out Dexter Fowler on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. That is our high-speed pitch presented by Charter Cable.
Hey, that's the kind of stuff that won him a spot on the roster. He threw like that just about all spring.
Well, sometimes you can throw spring stats out the window. They don't mean a whole lot, but if you're trying to make a team, they do. And Figueroa, in 11 appearances in spring training, gave up just 4 earned runs. He had a 2.40 ERA. And 11 strikeouts in 15 innings in spring training. Saw Tom Gorzolani warming up in the bullpen.
Yeah, very well balanced bullpen for the Brewers to start the season. 3 lefties and 5 right-handers out there.
Well, Renicky is carrying 13 pitchers, 8 in the bullpen, and has the left-right options, but it does leave him short on the bench, like we saw earlier. Giovanni Gallardo, because the bench is a short bench compared to what most 25-man rosters would be, he allowed Gallardo to hit, even though Gallardo was not going to come back out and pitch. He didn't want to burn a bench player in the 5th inning.
I can't imagine as the season goes on and pitchers are starting to get geared up to over 100 pitches that's going to continue. 7 relievers is still a lot, let alone 8. But early in the season, I guess you're forced to carry that extra arm.
Especially with Kyle Loesch being signed so late and not having a spring training. It was a bouncing ball, got a chance to turn it. Weeks, Segura to first in time. A double play. Gonzalez bounces into a 4-6-3 double play.
Well, they worked hard all spring. They worked together last year, and they looked pretty smooth throughout the spring training. Talking about Weeks and Segura, it's a tough feed for Ricky. Puts it right on the money, and Segura's arm does the rest. Not even close.
And we showed you that graphic of opening day shortstops the Brewers have had, and it's 5 consecutive years with a different player there. And that brings to mind Ricky Weeks and what he has gone through as a second baseman. That's such a tight combo, the keystone combination, shortstop and second base, and Weeks is continually trying to adapt to a new shortstop. And everybody's different. Everybody wants the ball put in a certain place, but he and Segura seem to work very well together. Segura on a hop, and Tulowitzki retired. Boy, Alfredo Figueroa is about as good as you can do it in his Brewers debut. 2 scoreless innings. Brewers still trail 3-1. Stretch time here at Miller Park, and we turn it over to Rob Edwards, the public address announcer for God Bless America.
The Milwaukee Brewers and all of Major League Baseball as we honor our great nation with the singing of God Bless America, led by Rhonda Begos.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean
All the pomp and circumstance of opening day. The bunting is up. And the Brewers are down right now. Down 3-1. As we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, Aramis Ramirez will lead off for Milwaukee. Jhoulys Chacín has been outstanding. He was wobbling a little bit in the first couple of innings. But just 1 run allowed. The home run by Aoki as Ramirez on the first pitch sends one out to Kadire. 1 pitch, 1 out for Chacín here in the 7th.
Chacín's pitch count at 83. He's doing a nice job minimizing his pitch count today.
Rocky can get complete opening day coverage all day long, including previews and position breakdowns. Andrew Grumman has the story at foxsportswisconsin.com. Here's Jonathan Lucroy now. Chacín has been tough. His breaking stuff has been really good. He was using a lot of fastballs. Remember, he struck out Braun on a couple of inside corner fastballs in the first inning.
And Rosario's done a nice job guiding him through the game too. It doesn't seem like Chacín has shaken him off too much. On the same page. They're on a roll. This guy's been impressive. Got to give the catcher some credit, partner.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on.
Young catcher Rosario. Giovanni Gallardo gave up 10 hits in his 5 innings, 3 runs. Chacín back and healthy. He was impressive when he returned last year. Chacín had a nerve problem in his upper chest and his right arm, his pitching arm, and was on the disabled list for a good chunk of the season. Lucroy in the right. Kadire drifting back. Plenty of room for out number 2 as we check in with Sophia.
Well, Brian, let's take a look again at today's AT&T Twitter poll. We asked fans, what is your favorite thing about opening day? And here are the results. Well, the overwhelming favorite was baseball is back with 56%. Tailgating got 10% of the vote. Skipping school or work, 27% of fans went with that one, and 7% were celebrating the fact that winter is over. And Brian, with an announced crowd of 45,781 for opening day here, by my math, that means about 12,000 of them are skipping work or school if our 27% is accurate. But we're happy to have them here either way.
Sophia, you said there'd be no math. It's a good cipher in
there. Just a little bit of opening day.
Nice.
Yeah. How did she get to that?
You got Rock completely flummoxed up here.
That's good work. I mean, that's going the extra mile right there.
How about a hashtag all of the above? You good with that?
I'm a little leery over the end of winter thing.
Ball and a strike to Gonzalez. Now 2-1 to Alex. Two gone in the Brewers 7th. Down 3-1, and all the runs courtesy of the home run ball. Tulowitzki and Carlos Gonzalez for the Rockies, Aoki for the Brewers. And Gonzalez draws the walk. Second time he's walked. Normally a free swinger, but Chacín has issued 2 walks to the Brewers first baseman. The only 2 he's allowed. I checked that. 2 of the 3 he's allowed. And now the tying run will come up. Carlos Gomez at the plate. Now Walt Weiss is on his way out. Right now the pitch count at 94 for Chacín as he works in the 7th. And Walt Weiss will take the ball from his opening day starter. That is a terrific job. And now the Brewers will have to deal with that Rockies bullpen. Matt Belisle next up. We'll take a break. Gomez coming up with 2 outs, representing the tying run.
Down 3-1. Hey, just a reminder, come out to Miller Park as the Brewers host the Arizona Diamondbacks this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com.
Well, Rockies for 3, then the Diamondbacks for 3. Brewers have a moment perhaps here. They've been far and few and far between.
This guy had 80 appearances last year for Colorado. I mean, last 3 years, this guy has, the minimum he's thrown is 74 appearances. 3-80, 371 earned run average last year, including 3 saves.
Yeah, he's one of the top late relievers in the game. Not a closer, but a terrific setup guy, 7th inning guy. Matt Belisle, Carlos Gomez, little cue shot coming in to Tulowitzki. And he gets his man, and that's it. 1 pitch for Belisle, and the Brewers are down in the 7th. And a doubleheader of Milwaukee sports today on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Coming up tonight, 6:30 for Bucks Live. You can check out the Bucks and the Bobcats on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Opening day here at Miller Park. And no opening day would be complete without Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker. Been broadcasting games for the Brewers since 1971. This is season number 42 for him. And he just keeps plugging away. Just one-year contract after another for all these years.
Yeah, he's never signed anything.
He's in a pretty good negotiating position, I would say.
I don't think he has anything to worry about.
So it's great to see Bob Uecker, and it fits perfectly with opening day here in Milwaukee. Think about Uecker in his 41st year, and the franchise has only been around. This is the 45th year of the franchise, so he's seen just about all of it. New pitcher for the Brewers, Bert Badenhop, acquired via trade with the Tampa Bay Rays. A sinker ball pitcher who will make his Brewers debut.
Well, he throws strikes. There's nothing but pounds of strike zone with a good sinker down the strike zone. Gets a lot of ground ball outs. Had a terrific year last year with Tampa.
Badenhop relieves Alfredo Figueroa, who goes 2 scoreless innings. A terrific job. Figueroa had 2 strikeouts. He faced 6 batters. Did give up a hit, but got a double play ball. And what a debut for Alfredo Figueroa.
And no sign of nerves for him. He's been in the big leagues before.
Bouncer to Ramirez. Low throw, dug out by Gonzalez. Just smooth as silk over at first base. Makes it look easy.
He's got incredible baseball instincts, does Alex Gonzalez. We saw it earlier on the rundown, and you've seen a number of short hops that he's had to handle, and in spring training he's made the play each and every time. This is a rarity as well. A bad throw by Aramis Ramirez. Usually he hits the first baseman right in the chest.
I was talking to Gonzalez about his glove, and he's kind of wrestled with the glove and what glove to use, and he's actually decided on a much smaller version. First baseman's gloves come in different lengths, and he started with the big one. He said, well, this big glove just doesn't feel right because he's been using a shortstop's glove all these years.
Right, which is relatively small.
So he went to a little shorter version, and even though you might not have as much length on the glove to pick up short hops, he just feels better on ground balls. Whatever he's using it well. That makes such a big difference, and we saw that with Corey Hart last year. When you have a first baseman that can pick it and do some things, you save a lot of errors. He just saved Aramis Ramirez an error.
Well, the size of the glove is dependent, is determined by how quickly you have to get rid of the baseball. Second baseman normally is back to first base. He uses typically the smallest glove on the field, then his shortstop. Third and first usually use pretty big gloves, and the biggest of all, the outfield.
See Ramirez's glove just slightly larger than Weeks, as Badenhop strikes out Todd Helton, who is 0 for 3 today in what could be his final appearance at Miller Park of his career in this series.
Not an easy guy to strike out. Check out this pitch. Backdoor slider right on the outside corner.
Two going for Willeen Rosario. Always ready to hack. Rosario has 2 hits today. He swung away at a 3-0 pitch in the 4th inning. Reached on an infield hit. Had a clean single to right center in the 2nd. This guy has some big power. Led all major league catchers in home runs last year at 28. 18 of those came in his home ballpark at Coors Field.
And a very good defensive catcher to go with it.
Hey, what an inning. Great start for Bert Badenhop. His Brewers debut, 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts. of the 8th, getting late for the Brewers. Opening day 2013. And Walt Weiss's setup man this year, at least to start the season, is Wilton Lopez. And a terrific year last year. Lopez with a 2.17 earned run average. He'll have the 8th. Brewers down a pair.
This is where your season pretty much hinges with your bullpen. So far, the Brewers relievers have been pretty good. Surprised that Matt Belisle got 1 pitch, 1 out, and then taken out of the ball game.
He's the 7th inning guy, Rock.
Whether it's 1 pitch or 20.
So it's Lopez for the 8th. Gene Segura will lead off. You see that sun starting to shine through the panels above the first base grandstand, leaking out over home plate. Can be a little tricky to see this time of day. We'll take the sun however it comes at this point.
Right, no complaints. And one of the bright spots, talking about Lopez for the Houston Astros a year ago. 6-3 and 64 appearances out of the bullpen. This guy was pretty good.
Slow roll of the third, going to be a tough play, and Nelson tries to barehand it, which keeps it fair. And an easy base hit for Segura. I'm not sure if it would have stayed fair or not, but if Nelson lets it go and it is fair, that's going to turn into a double.
Well, even if he gets it in his hand, he's not going to have a play on Segura. That was going to be close. I felt as though that ball hit the seam. It probably would have gone right over the bag. Yeah, it would have been fair. He knocked it down. If he lets it go and it goes down the line, and it might be a double.
So Segura is aboard on an infield hit. That is just the 4th base hit for the Brewers today. And the tying run will come to the plate, and Logan Schaefer will get his first at bat of the season. Pinch hitting for Burke Badenhop. He did a great job off the bench last year, Schaefer. It's one of the main reasons why Renicky felt that he was a good fit instead of going back to AAA playing every day. Renicky thinks Schaefer is an everyday player. He's an everyday outfielder. He's one of the best defensive outfielders the Brewers have in their entire organization. But he was 4 for 8 off the bench last year and drove in 4 runs. That ball is hit high in the air to right off the end of the bat. Just missed it, did Schaefer. And 1 gone. So back to the top of the order we go. And Nori Aoki, who is still responsible for the only tally on the board. Wendy's at the plate. Nori Aoki will walk his first at bat and then went deep in the 3rd. 1 for 2 today. Pretty good catch by Carlos Gonzalez to rob him of extra bases in the 6th.
Yeah, really the only Brewer that felt comfortable against Chacín today.
The Rockies starter Chacín, 6 2/3 innings, just 1 run allowed. Struck out 6. One out, Segura at first. So the Nationals shut out the Marlins today. Washington got a couple of home runs from Bryce Harper. And Steven Strasburg with the win. It's going to be a tough ball club. A lot of games still in progress in the big leagues. Opening day across Major League Baseball. The opener last night, opening night, the Astros of the American League beat the Rangers.
Nice to have baseball back on TV, right? Checking it out.
Games everywhere,
I'll tell you what,
including ours.
that Altuve can hit, huh? I mean, that guy just flat out hits.
Yeah.
Jose Altuve. I like watching that guy.
Well, the Astros make the switch to the American League. Brewers made that switch. As a matter of fact, today is the 16th opening day as a member of the National League. See, Axford, the closer, in case the Brewers tie or take the lead. Kinsler, if it stays the same, and a good take. Aoki has it at 3-1.
Another pitch out of the strike zone, and Ricky knocks one out of here. That'd be a nice recipe for today.
Well, you know, Lopez does not want to lose Aoki. And as we saw back in the 3rd inning, he can flash a little power every now and then. Hitters count. Bouncing ball to second. Rutledge to Tulowitzki, and not in time. So Aoki keeps the inning alive. Reaching on a fielder's choice.
Now Norrie's able to get down that line very quickly off the end of the bat. You can see how Aoki finishes his swing. He's actually on his way to first by the time he finishes that swing, and no chance for the double play. Keeping the inning alive.
That tailing action by Lopez right off the end of the bat. So 2 gone. Here comes Weeks. Weeks into left center. That's a base hit. Aoki will challenge Gonzalez. No throw. First and third for the Brewers with Braun coming up. Ricky Weeks is 2 for 4. Well, the Brewers right where they want to be with Braun coming up. Representing the go-ahead run. Been a rough day so far for Braun. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, but the guy that got him is out of the game.
Yeah, all 3 of those at-bats against Jhoulys Chacin. Runners at the corners. 2 gone. And Braun takes one inside.
A big heavy sinker at 90 miles an hour for Lopez. Braun trying to get one up in the strike zone and knock it out of here. He lives for these situations.
Ryan Braun, lifetime against Lopez, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Bouncing ball in the hole. Tulowitzki backhands, no play. Infield hit, run scores. And the Brewers are within a run.
Well, able to hook with a big long bat with the slider. Braun out in front and able to drive in the run. There you see it. Braun out in front and the pitch away. Able to get enough of the hole to force Tulowitzki to hold on to it. Base hit RBI for Braun.
First RBI of the season for Ryan Braun, who finished 2nd in the National League last year in that category. And with good speed everywhere on the bases. No play for Tulowitzki. And Braun has brought the Brew Crew within a run here. Still 2 men out. Aramis Ramirez due up. Third base coach Ed Cedar having a chat with Rick Weeks. The Rockies pitching coach is Jim Wright. And just a quick visit here with Wilton Lopez. The top run producing tandem in the National League last year, Braun and Ramirez. And now Ramirez trying to add to it. Good speed on the bases. Weeks out at second, Braun at first. Tying run in scoring position for Aramis. Ramirez had the first hit of the season for the Brewers, a single back in the first inning. He's 1 for 3. Ball and a strike.
And a good changeup from Wilton Lopez had Ramirez way out in front. Fastball with good sink. Slider and a changeup. Wilton Lopez.
Ramirez down the line, foul. There it goes to a ball and 2 strikes on the Brewers' third baseman. Brewers have a run in here in the 8th. Strung together 3 hits. Good numbers for Ramirez against Lopez. 4 for 7. That includes a home run. Ricky Weeks reaching on a single to left center. Braun, an infield hit and an RBI. Brewers down a run. Ready for a 1-2. Ramirez fights it off.
He was right on it. Fouled it straight back up in the zone. Well, he's throwing all 3 of his pitches now to Aramis Ramirez. What does he do with them at 1 and 2? His best pitch is his changeup.
And a well-timed cloud has knocked out some of the harsh shadows between home plate and the mound. The 1-2 pitch, and Ramirez lays off. Good take, didn't bite. 2-2, the count goes. Bell. That was a changeup from Lopez. For the second time today, Wally Bell is taking a shot behind the plate. He's all right.
Yep. Not the first time. Not his first rodeo. Yep. Well, there's a pad there. I think he goes down that far. Maybe not. Rub some dirt on it, they say, right?
Counter made to 2-2. Good battle here. Seventh pitch of the at-bat for Ramirez. Tying run at second base. Go-ahead run at first. 2-2. Ramirez down the left field line. Foul ball! Weeks will score. Braun racing around third. He's going to try the throw. Braun is safe. And the Brewers have the lead. Aramis Ramirez comes through in the clutch.
All right, how about that at bat for Aramis Ramirez? Goodness. Boy, what an at bat. Who says he's a slow starter? 7 pitches and he doubles down the left field line. He had the right guy at first. Ryan Braun with great speed. Well, he threw everything at Aramis Ramirez in this at bat. He kept going hard, then soft again. Got the count to 2-2. Throwing everything he had at Ramirez, and then finally there it is. The cut fastball slider, and he rips it down the left field line. Wow.
And now Lucroy takes a strike. Boy, what a moment here on opening day. A 2 RBI double. Braun and Ramirez driving the runs to give the Brewers the lead here in the 8th inning. He said he wanted to get off to a better start. He has. His second hit today. And the crowd chanting Luke for Lucroy. And now John Axford begins to prepare in earnest. Bottom of the order coming up against Axford. Rockies are in the 8th spot of their batting order. LaCroix, fly ball. Kadire makes the play. Side retired, but the Brew crew down 2 runs in the 8th. Take the lead. It was Braun first. And then a Ramos Ramirez. And now the Axeman cometh. A 2-out, 2-strike double that produced 2 runs. And the Brewers go from a run down to a run ahead. Well, what a moment here on opening day at Miller Park. The Brewers are 0 for their last 4 on opening days. And now 3 outs away from ending that trend.
Nice at bat. A 7-pitch at bat, off-speed pitch, able to keep it fair, and Ryan Braun with great speed able to score. As John Axford comes on for his first save opportunity of the year.
Columbia St. Mary's save tracker, 35 last year. And an outstanding finish to the season after a very rough first half. So the Axeman getting his first shot at a save on opening day. Chris Nelson leads off for Colorado. They'll have a pinch hitter due next. I believe Reed Brignac is on deck, and then back to the top of the order. And you're trying to avoid Carlos Gonzalez or Troy Tulowitzki. And there's a way to the finish line without having to face the Rockies' best hitters. There's a strike.
Well, and John Axford is down in the strike zone, and he misses. Even if he misses down, you're okay with it. It's when he's wild high is when you're concerned. The end of spring training really had a good curveball working.
Three and one. Now the Brewers go 7 innings offensively with just 3 hits and 1 run. And then with 2 outs in the 8th inning, the Brewers with 3 consecutive hits and 3 runs in, had 4 hits total for the inning. Nelson takes strike 2.
Good velocity on that last fastball at 95.
Chris Nelson 1 for 3 today. Batting in the 8th spot in the order. The payoff. Got him.
No question what he was going to throw there. Big fastball by Axford at 95. Nelson comes up empty. This guy throws strikes. It's tough to hit.
Put it right by him. And the first out for John Axford this year is a strikeout, and that alters the decision for Walt Weiss after the strikeout. Instead of Reed Brignac, he's going to bring on Eric Young Jr. to pinch hit.
A number of options over there for Colorado. A couple of switch hitters and a lefty.
Eric Young Jr. now a super utility man, coming up as an infielder. One of the fastest players in the big leagues. And we know Walt Weiss is trying to get him aboard and utilize some of that speed. Dexter Fowler coming up next. Boy, it is tough to see right now for a hitter, you have to think.
Amazing that Sun disappeared when that last at bat for Ramirez, huh?
0-2 the count. And when the shadows are a problem, the hook can sometimes be the best weapon.
And it was a strike, and it was a beauty.
0-2 on Young. See what Axford does here. Curveball. Young didn't bite. That was a pretty good pitch. Not for a strike, but right where Axford wanted to put it.
Hey, you don't want to hang it. You're going to throw the curve with 2 strikes, put it in the dirt.
Back to the hook. 1-2 to Young. And he didn't bite. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You got to give Young a lot of credit.
Yeah, those are tough pitches to lay off of. You just hope that they're not strikes when you're up in the batter's box like that. Because if they are, you've got no chance. You're dialed up for 95 miles an hour.
One gone. Axford deals a 2-2, and it's ball 3. Axford starts the season needing 27 saves to tie a franchise record. He would tie Dan Plesac for the all-time saves record in Brewers history. 3-2. Got him. Back to the heat. And Axford strikes out Nelson and Young. 2 up, 2 gone.
Well, just the thought of the curveball makes this pitch much more effective, right down the middle, and blows it right by him.
Miller Lite, what's on tap? Rockies, Brewers tomorrow. Night games tomorrow and Wednesday. Back at it Friday against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And all of these games, this opening homestand on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Dexter Fowler sends that one in the air right field. That ball is deep, and that ball is gone. And this game is tied. A 2-out game-tying home run for Dexter Fowler.
And not the guy you would expect to hit the home run to tie it up. That was a fastball right down the middle, 95 miles an hour. And he knocks it out of here. My, oh, my.
Well, Brewers fans have seen this show before, and right down the heart, and Fowler did not miss. And a blown save for John Axford. And now Josh Rutledge. Well, the Brewers get 3 runs with 2 outs in the 8th inning. The Rockies answer with a 2-out home run to tie this thing up. 0-2 on Rutledge. Looking ahead to the Brewers' bottom of the 9th. Alex Gonzalez will lead off, then Gomez, followed by Segura. And Axford trying to get him there, still tied.
Man, you just never know in this game. You never know who the guy's going to be that's going to be the hero. And a guy that doesn't hit many, that was a no-doubter. Wow.
1-2 to Rutledge, and down he goes. So Axford strikes out the side, but a big home run for the Rockies. Dexter Fowler ties it up. We head to the bottom of the ninth. Dexter Fowler ties it up. Check the Subway in-game box score. The Brewers didn't have a whole lot going on through the first 7 2/3. Matter of fact, just 3 hits through the first 7 innings, but 3 runs on 4 hits in the 8th, including a Ryan Braun infield RBI and an Aramis Ramirez 2 RBI double that gave the Brewers the lead. It was short-lived as Dexter Fowler ties it up with a 2-out homer off Axford. And it'll be Rex Brothers out of the Colorado bullpen. The left-hander will face Alex Gonzalez, Carlos Gomez, and Gene Segura.
Yeah, they bring in the left-hander, and there's no left-handers coming up. The only lefty out of that Colorado bullpen. Pretty good numbers a year ago for Rex Brothers.
Alex Gonzalez takes a strike. Quickly 0-2. And John Axford, you know what's going through his mind. Had such a tough year last year.
Struck out the side, but the big home run coming with 2 outs. Now you got to tip your hat to Fowler. I mean, he come up there, he looked fastball, he got it, and he knocked it out. Not a guy that you would expect to do it, but he did.
Fowler with 3 hits today. 2 singles in that home run. John Axford led the major leagues in blown saves a year ago with 9. And has his first here on opening day. Down goes Gonzalez. So a strikeout for Brothers. A nasty breaking ball from the left-hander.
And good slider down and in under the bat of right-handed hitter. You can see the speed on it, the spin. Down and in, and Gonzalez over the top.
Here's Carlos Gomez. You know, Brewers fans would love to see Gomez keep his opening day home run streak alive. He's homered the last 2 opening days for the Brewers. Carlos so far today is 0 for 3.
How about just getting on? Stealing a couple of bases.
Not a bad way to start.
And that's the approach that, you know, Ron Renneke wants him to take.
Brewers were down 3-1, scoring 3 runs with 2 outs in the 8th to take the lead. Gomez, right field. That ball's hit. Kadire is back at the wall, and he makes a great catch. Michael Kadire up against the wall, brings it back.
Now the outfielders play a little bit deeper in these situations. Kadire spun himself around and made a good catch right in front of the fence out there in right. Gomez thought he got it. And Kadire hauls it in.
A good play by Kadire. 2 outs in the inning. Now Gene Segura. Segura reached on an infield hit to start the 8th inning. A 4-hit inning for the Brewers. In there for a strike, 1-1.
Good arm from Brothers. 94 from a left-hander. Good slider. Jim Henderson getting ready.
If we go to a 10th. Two and 1. Chris Davis hoping for a shot here in the 9th inning. 2-1 to Segura. Bouncing ball through, a base hit. And there's the winning run. A 2-out hit for Gene Segura. His 2nd hit of the ball game. He's 2 for 4.
Let's see if Segura can get a jump. Left-hander Brothers, a decent move to first base. Got a fastball out away from him. Found the hole in the left. Segura with outstanding speed over there at first base.
Boy, and what a spot to make your major league debut. Chris Davis, who led the Brewers in home runs this spring. He hit 6 of them.
I'll get him in there when he's hot, right? He's been playing every day. Put him up in this situation. Very impressive down in Arizona.
What a spot for him. First big league at bat. Davis actually hit 7 home runs this spring. This other one came against Team Canada in an exhibition game. It doesn't show up on the stats. He showed big power in Arizona and earned his way onto this opening day roster. He's been a good hitter through the minor leagues. Many feel he's a 300 hitter. And a hot one. Great play by Nelson to second. And the out is made. Tough break for Chris Davis. Hit it hard. Nothing doing. And here we go. Extra innings on opening day. A lot of late runs with 2 outs, including a Dexter Fowler homer to tie it off Axford. Don't forget, this week the World Poker Tour is all new from Paris, France, when the WPT Grand Prix de Paris, presented by ClubWPT.com. Join us Sunday. More than $500,000 in first place prize money on the line in the City of Lights. Jim Henderson next up for the Brewers as we head to the 10th. And he will have to deal with the heart of the Colorado Rockies batting order.
Yeah, 3, 4, and 5 that he's got to deal with. Henderson, a rough spring, pitched much better at the end. His numbers a year ago, very good. He was a big part of the turnaround for that Brewers bullpen at the end of the season.
Home runs have been the story today. The Rockies have 3 of them. Tulowitzki, a 2-run homer. Gonzalez had a solo shot, and then Fowler's 2-out 9th inning homer off Axford to tie this game. Nori Aoki has homered for the Brewers today. Well, last year, extra innings, the Brewers saw way too many of them. 18. They were 7 and 11. And when you have a closer who is having a rough year, as Axford did last year, you see a lot of extra inning ball games. And Gonzalez whistles one foul on the first offering from Henderson. Like Axford, Henderson pitched for Team Canada in the WBC. And he had a rough spring. He came back from the WBC and felt his mechanics were a little out of whack. 97-mile-an-hour fastball right by Gonzalez.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the mechanics there. You get 97. And that's pretty much the wheelhouse for Carlos Gonzalez, and threw it right by him.
Henderson came up last year, did such a great job for the Brewers, was a big part of the turnaround. Gonzalez sounded like he got jammed just enough. Easy play for Carlos Gomez. 1 gone. Well, a lot of activity late here in our game summary. Aramis Ramirez with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Drives in 2 runs with a double. And the Brewers go from 3-2 down to 4-3 ahead. But Fowler with 2 outs on the first pitch he saw from Axford. He sends one out of here to tie it up. Some late inning 2-out heroics. And it's going to be a final at-bat win for someone here today on opening day.
Yeah, good slider for Jim Henderson. When you talked about the mechanics, when those mechanics are a bit out of whack, I mean, the slider's not going to have that sharp break on it like the last one did. Flattens out, you lose velocity. Henderson looks pretty good here today.
And quite a story. Made his major league debut last year at the age of 29 and named to his first career opening day roster. One of the 8. He had a great year in AAA last year to earn his promotion. Had a 1.69 ERA and 15 saves. Brewers brought him up, and when it was all said and done in the big leagues, he pitched in 36 games and a 3.52 ERA. An Alberta native. And now 30 years of age. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Tulowitzki. Got him. Henderson climbs the ladder to strike out the Rockies shortstop.
That went slider, fastball, and got him to chase out of the zone. Good pitching from Jim Henderson. 96 on the radar gun, and Tulowitzki comes up empty.
Two gone.
But as we know, 2 outs is not an inning make.
Right. Here's Michael Kadire. Kadire made a nice catch on a deep fly ball by Carlos Gomez last inning. Kanaya is 0 for 4 today. Lined out to center field his first time up. A fly ball out and a couple of ground outs since. The 2-0. 2-1.
Got in on his hands. 2-0 to Dyer. Let it fly. Got jammed. Every now and again, Henderson will try and two-seam one. Have tail in on a right-hander. That's what he did that time.
Two and two. Back to the heat for Jim Henderson. Two from Henderson. Fly ball right field. Aoki is there. And Big Jim, a 3-up, 3-down inning, and the top of the order coming up, bottom of the 10th. Aoki, Weeks, and Ryan Braun. Off magic here tonight at Miller Park. And top of the order coming up against Adam Ottavino. You don't see pitchers wearing the number 0, but Ottavino has that number, and he's on the mound here in the bottom of the 10th.
Well, there you go. 53 games last year for the Rockies. He's also spent some time with the Cardinals back in 2010. Fifth pitcher used by Walt Weiss today.
Jhoulys Chacín started with 6 2/3, just 1 earned run. He was fantastic. 6 strikeouts. Lyle Lopez gave it up. Lopez gave up the 3 runs in the 8th. Brothers a scoreless 9th. And here's Ottavino as Aoki squares to bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 1. Giovanni Gallardo started for the Brewers. 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs on 10 hits. Figueroa was impressive in 2 scoreless. Baden Hopland a scoreless inning with a couple of Ks. And Axford had it down to the last out with the lead in the 9th before Fowler hit one out to right field. Encouraging outing by Jim Henderson. Big fastball right through the heart of the Rockies order. 3 up, 3 down. 1 and 2 the count on Aoki.
Yeah, good sinker that time from Ottavino. That ball just dropped right off the table. It starts out about the belt, and look at the way that thing fades away.
And he got him. Aoki down on strikes. 1 gone in the Brewers 10th.
Good slider that time from Ottavino, and seeing him wrap that pitch, tumbling as it gets there, and disappears down at the bottom of the zone.
That really gives you a good look at the shadows, the sunlight coming through. Half of that baseball is in the sunlight, the back half with the shadow. It's got to be tough to pick up rotation.
Yeah, tough for the catcher, tough for the umpire and the hitter.
Here's Weeks. He's pouring in the strikes out of Eno. Ryan Braun due next. All tied at 4 in the 10th. And did that hit him? It did. Ricky Weeks is aboard. A hit batter, and the Brewers put the winning run at first base.
I would figure it's really not going to be a running situation with Ricky, not with Braun up, but we'll see.
So here comes Braun. So many moments like this already in his career that he has delivered. Braun had an infield hit and an RBI in that 3-run 8th inning. That came with 2 outs. Brought the Brewers within a run. Then he scored what was at the time the go-ahead run. Scored from first on a double. Braun entering his 7th year in the big leagues. Came up in 07, was the rookie of the year in 07. He's an MVP now, finished 2nd in the MVP race last year. The face of the franchise up in a big spot on opening day. Long look, and Braun finally calls time, or asks for time.
Ottavino trying to freeze him. Pitcher holds the ball like that, you're trying to freeze the runner and the hitter. Both of them tighten up, so you call timeout.
Weeks representing the winning run. 4-4 game, bottom 10. The Brewers have not played an extra inning game on opening day since 2008. That was a victory at Wrigley Field in Chicago. No balls and a strike on Braun. Weeks takes off, and the throw to second base skips into center field.
Just stay put.
Big stolen base for Ricky Weeks, and now the winning run is in scoring position.
And good throw gets Ricky, but it wasn't. Not a good throw at all by Rosario. Ricky with not a very big lead, a decent jump and a good throw, and he's out.
The Brewers led the National League in stolen bases a year ago, and a big steal of second here in the 10th inning, and now a base hit could end it. Rockies have very good arms in the corner outfield spots. Carlos Gonzalez in left and Michael Kadire in right. Both throw the ball extremely well, and Fowler an average arm, but he gets to it quickly. So there's no guarantee that Weeks could score on a base hit.
And they're going to walk Braun. I don't blame him. You put him on, you set up the double play. You take the bat out of the hands of the MVP.
And that puts Aramis Ramirez in the spotlight once again. So here comes Ramirez. Coming off a big at bat in the 8th. With 2 outs and 2 strikes in the 7th pitch of the at bat against Wilton Lopez. A double down the left field line that scored Weeks and Braun. Braun scoring from first to give the Brewers the lead. And the top run producing tandem in the National League last year, Braun and Ramirez. One out. Winning run at second. Rockies are set up to turn 2 to get out of this inning. Now, when the Brewers lost Prince Fielder to free agency prior to last season, it was imperative to sign a run producer for this moment, for the moment when Braun is intentionally walked. And that's why they were so aggressive with Aramis Ramirez.
And you got to figure Ramirez sitting dead red here. Ottavino missed with a fastball and a slider.
Hitters count 2-0 to Ramirez. Jonathan Lucroy to follow if it gets to him. And now Rosario wants a visit with his right-hander.
Well, I don't blame him. 2-0 the count on a big-time run producer. You got to be sure what you want to throw here. Rosario and Ottavino obviously did not agree on what to throw, so they want to have a chat. Well, you know Ramirez is sitting on a fastball here.
2 hits today for Ramirez. 2 for 4. Big pitch coming, the 2-0. And Ramirez takes a strike. Oh, he threw him a wrinkle on a 2-0 pitch. That was a big strike for Ottavino. Sellout crowd ready to roar. 2 balls and a strike. 3-1.
Well, if you throw the slider on 2-0, pretty good chance you're going to see it on 3-1. If you're Aramis Ramirez, is that the way you're thinking? I don't know.
Just 1 out. 3 balls and a strike. Here it comes. And it's ball 4. And now the winning run just 90 feet away with Lucroy coming up.
Boy, good patience by Ramirez. A couple of fastballs. Just a bit out of the strike zone, and he took them. Showing very good patience.
Lucroy a chance to deliver the Brewers an opening day win. Ricky Weeks was hit by a pitch. Braun and Ramirez drawing walks. Braun's was intentional. And now the bases are full, and here comes Lucroy. And the Rockies will bring their infield in. How about those numbers? A .333 hitter in his career with the bases loaded. And much better last year. He was a .455 hitter in spots like this. Started it with a breaking ball, strike 1.
Well, the infield in, the outfield in. Lucroy keeps his same approach up the middle to the opposite field.
Weeks will be heads up for a pitch in the dirt. Pass ball, wild pitch. The 0-1. Lucroy, center field. Should be deep enough. Fowler winding it up. Makes the catch. Here comes Weeks. The throw is up the line, and that's the ball game. The Brewers win. Jonathan Lucroy with a sacrifice fly. And a 5-4 Milwaukee win on opening day. how about that for an opening day memory?
Nice snatching back. They were down 3-1 late in the ball game, came back. Thought they had the game in the bag, but they had to play extra innings, and it came down to patience at the plate. And Jonathan Lucroy doing what he does best, coming through with men in scoring position. A fly ball deep enough to score Ricky Weeks. That's a nice opening day. Now you mentioned opening day, extra innings, 2008. Things worked out pretty well that year.
Right. And that's the last opening day win the Brewers have had until today. It had been 4 consecutive losses to start the season, and all that wiped out today. Weeks scores the winning run. Lucroy gets the aggressive pats on the back, and a great moment here in front of a sellout crowd of nearly 46,000. 5-4, the Brewers win it. We kick it down to Sophia with Jonathan Lucroy.
All right, Luke, kind of a wild finish. What was the key in that at bat, staying patient, knowing that the bases were loaded?
I'm just trying to hit the ball hard in the middle somewhere. You know, both corner guys have pretty good arms in the outfield, so I didn't say Dexter doesn't, but I was trying to get out there a little deeper. It's a little harder to throw from center field. So, you know, I give credit to our pitchers that kept us in the game, gave us a chance to win. The guys in front of me, they had really good at bats, and I was just able to loft one out there and float it out there and get a RBI out of it.
How about that 2-out, 3-run rally in the 8th? What was the key to staying patient in those at bats to get you guys to extra innings?
Oh, you know, dang it.
Congrats on getting the first pie of the season, too.
Yeah, that's the first pie of the season and probably going to be my last because I'm going to go punch somebody. Dang it. Yeah, so, what was the question?
The 8th inning rally there to get you guys to extra innings.
Oh, yeah. Big ABs by guys in front of us. You know, Ramey had a real good at bat in front of me, hit that double, and he really did well. I mean, that's a huge at bat for us.
All right, thanks, Luke, for your time. Craig, the Brewers come away with their first opening day victory in 5 years.
And how about doing it in grand style, getting a big congratulations from the owner, Mark Attanasio, as well. Coming up next, Brewers Live postgame. If you like that interview with Luke, we got plenty more on the walk-off winner today for the Brew Crew. We'll hear from Ron Renick, our on-field instructional. Get inside the clubhouse, all coming up next.